one. So, alrighty then. Welcome everybody. It's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central American Time at Grubby B Gaming. It's a blue tongue.
Yeah, buddy.
This is the BearThoughts podcast. Be sure to hit that like button before you leave. All right, Corvo. You have been a busy man. I've been a pretty busy man. Hope you have a very good week. But let's go jump right into it. I hope you're all doing well. So, I'm going to go ahead and just straight up ask you, how are the kids with sports?
Okay, so it's like this. Soren had his evaluations yesterday.
Evaluation? Okay, so explain that to somebody that's just never gonna have kids. So
what they do is they take your children out on the football field and they have a set of activities they make the kids participate in, because what they're doing is the coaches are walking around and evaluating how fast is he? Can he catch? Can he block? Can he turn on a dime? Does he have the ability to push through the line? They're evaluating what skills they currently have.
With strengths.
Right, because what's going to happen is all those coaches are going to get together, and one at a time, they're each going to get an opportunity to pick a child from that pool.
So pretty much
they're making notes on who they want the most, or who they want if they can't get somebody and stuff, so that when they sit down, they can get as close to the ideal team that they were looking for as possible. And they also want to kind of balance the team. They don't want to take, oh, well, this coach got all the, star players, and this team got all the players that need a lot of work. They also do that. Like they balance it out where it's kind of, you get 5 really good, you get 5 kind of intermediate, kind of thing. But to do that, they have to evaluate them. Okay. So the first thing in the evaluation process is we're weighing them. How much do they weigh?
Okay.
Because we don't want a lopsided team. You don't want a team full of like 150-pound boys versus a team against like 80-pound team. That's kind of, they're going to get run over like a freaking bulldozer.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was always be that one kid that's like, you are too big for this league, but you're not big enough for this league. And then, of course, you got that one kid who's like, yeah, you say you're 8 or 9, but you look like you're 6 or 7. You're not quite
right
built
so
for
they
this
go,
yet.
They go and weigh them all, which they weighed Soren and they weighed all the other kids. They give them all numbers. So this is your number. When we call your number, you participate in whatever activity we're doing at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Take them out there, and they put them through some drills. One of them was a scuttle. I don't know if you know what a scuttle is, but for most people, a scuttle is they give you a ball.
Mm-hmm.
You have to dash forward, and then while facing forward, sidestep.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
And then while facing forward, you have to run backwards. And then when you get to the back, you have to turn right and run it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Soren did pretty decent on scuttle, and he had never scuttled before, so I was pretty proud of that. However, he did not understand how much this will affect where he's placed on a team, so he did not run all out at any given point, and he did not hit the coach's tackle pad as hard as he could at any point. So I was like, son, no. I said, now you're going to get put on a team, and they're not going to look at you as somebody that's, hey, we need him on the field. They're going to look at you, hey, he'll be a good backfield. I said, no. So this weekend, he gets daddy boot camp. And unfortunately for him, what that means is I'm going to put a flag around his mama's waist, and he better be quick because he's got to get that flag. And then he's got to do we already did some tackle practice. He's got that. He didn't understand that he was supposed to hit them as hard as he could. He thought they were looking for making sure they were hitting them properly. So he was formed up properly.
Yeah.
To an extent. He did extend his arms, and he probably shouldn't have. But he did put a shoulder in and push. Whereas what they were looking for was how hard can you drive.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked on that a little bit when we got home that day. We're gonna work on his speed by making him try to catch his mom or having his brother try to catch him. One of the two. Either way, he's screwed. We're gonna do some passing, work on his catching because they threw him a long pass. He got his hands on the ball, but he wasn't closed up enough here.
Yeah.
So he got it cradled coming in, and then this hole was too large, so it went right through. But he did get his hands on it. So he's capable of catching it. We just got to work on, tightening up and on that.
What about the other son? How did he fare?
He hasn't had his yet. That's next week.
Okay.
And pretty much for him, he is playing purely flag, whereas his brother is playing tackle. So what we got to work on with him is speed. Pretty much speed. He's quick. We just got to get him to understand that when he's playing the game, it's all quick. There's no halfway. When you come off the line, you're moving. You don't stop until you stop. If I can get that through his head, he'll be fine because he's quick enough to catch most of those kids out there and grab the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Or quick enough to break away if he's got the ball. So I think he's the biggest challenge he's going to have is understanding the game. He's not going to understand why are we lining up and getting in a 3-point stance. He's probably not going to understand that until after first or second practice.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to understand it. If he's got the ball, he runs away from the other team, and he's going to understand that whoever's got the ball on the other team, I'm supposed to catch. That's not a problem. So there's a couple of things we got to work on.
As long as he don't hit a bit one of those kids that gets the football and then everybody go, run, run, run. And he starts running, but he's running toward the wrong goal.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta work on some stuff. I think Soren will be okay when we get him to understand that when you're running on that field, it's all out.
Yeah.
It's not half-ass. And when you hit something, this is one of the few times, son, you have permission to knock the living shit out of whatever's in front of you.
Well, with your body, not with your,
Well, he's not going to do that. He knows better than that, but
you get the ball, wham!
The problem with Soren is he's so laid back and he's been told for so long to be careful and not hurt someone.
Mm-hmm.
That he legit will not put all his force into anything. And I've got to get him to understand that that in football he has permission. Drop that shoulder and you nail him.
Mm-hmm.
If you knock him down, oh friggin' well, he chose to be on the field. Knock him down.
It's contact.
He's got to get that in his head. He's got to understand this is one of the few places that you're allowed to do this.
Yeah.
He's so worried that if he hits the kid as hard as he can and he falls down and he's going to get in trouble, that he won't hit him that hard. I'm like, no, you're not going to get in trouble. You're probably going to get praise.
At least from Daddy.
I mean, we did a couple of hitting drills when we got home.
Yeah.
And he hit me hard enough I had to take a step back. And I'm a pretty big fella.
Mm-hmm.
So if he hits one of those little kids like that and comes up as he does it, they coming off the ground. I just got to get him in the mindset of doing that. But they're so excited. But they found out just what it was like to be in the middle of a football field in the heat the other day, and it wasn't quite as fun as they thought that part was going to be.
No AC here. It's not inside football. There ain't no fan blowing on you.
What was messed up was we knew Ethan was going to get hot just sitting in the bleachers waiting for his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So Stealthy brought Ethan a popsicle. So Ethan's over there slurping on this big old long popsicle. Soren's looking at him from the field like, you dirty son of a...
Wait for your turn.
But, yeah, I mean, it's been a real experience. One of the... Stealthy would probably tell you this later offline, but I'll tell you now. We had a mishap at school. And they misplaced my oldest child yesterday. Yeah. They put him on the Y bus without talking to us or anybody else. So when she come to pick Ethan up, there was no Soren, and Ethan was freaking out.
The Y bus?
Yeah, the YMCA bus.
Oh. But they know the mother picks up the child, so
Right, and here's what's even worse: his name wasn't even on the list to be put on the bus. The only reason the bus driver accepted him is because there was a teacher at the school insisting that he get on the bus. So you can imagine how the phone calls went when I got a hold of it.
Oh yeah, I imagine there was some unnecessary words, but words that they needed to hear.
Yeah. It was ugly, but after talking with the teacher today, we got it sorted out. They're fixing to come through, guys. So if you see them walk through,
come on by.
turn it all around, put the lime in the coconut. Hey, there's the football star. Scoot on through, Bubba.
You mean the needs a lot of practice star?
Yeah, I was just talking to Grumpy. He was asking about that.
Game pants.
Game pants.
Yep.
And those are practice pants.
And he keeps those.
He gets to keep those.
That and jersey.
And the jersey. Oh, shoot.
The game pants and the game jersey have to be returned.
Yeah, game pants, game
he
jersey.
wants
go
to
back.
show you the rest of his gear because he actually got him.
Okay, well, come on. We're actually talking about you right now, Bubba, so you can shut the door. Shut the door.
He has practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't like this mouth guard. This mouth guard will hurt you. Out, Ethan. Shut the door.
What kind of mouth
Has
guard
practice
is it?
Tomorrow at 6.
All right, shut the door.
Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Okay, Tuesdays, Thursdays at 6 o'clock practice. Same field?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
This-
he's in the
this-
backfield or
uh-uh.
field, though.
No, this, no. You will use this for your practice, but no.
He does need cleats, but he's not gonna have cleats this first game. Okay.
Why? When's his first game?
Not his
First
game.
practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that. But this, he's only going to use this for this practice.
Okay.
Because I had one of these and it cut my gums up.
Well, how's he gonna get the strap thing? Long time.
Oh, yeah, the strap comes with that other
Baby,
one.
that goes over your pads.
The strap comes with the other one. Hold on a minute, guys. All right, let me see that jersey.
That's the practice.
This is his practice jersey. Apparently, he gets to keep this one, guys. So,
Number
Yeah,
50. Why you choose 50?
They didn't choose it. That's just the size.
no, he's talking about the number.
Yeah, they
50.
didn't choose a number for him.
They just gave him
These are
this.
just practice.
This is just practice, so this is what he gets.
Okay, I thought that maybe like if there was a reason why. 'Cause
And
there was
he
always
gets
asking
his
me,
practice pants. So these are his practice pants. He gets to keep those.
man, I don't miss
This
those
is the
at all.
only helmet that fit him.
Oh, and ironically, yes.
Oh no, what's worse? What's worse is it's either that one or one that was bigger that wheeled on his head. So that's why. They would
And
do
a
that.
bulldog.
Yeah, Bubba.
Yeah, it pulls his hair and pulls on his ears, dude. It was so bad for him. It's so
It's
funny.
okay though. And let me see them pads. Slip them jokers over on you. I want to see what you look like a Hercules. Look at him, big
Hang on.
boy.
It's like
You
it's
wanna
just,
know what your
when I
girl
see
looks
those
like?
when I see those patterns that are on the shoulder, it reminds me of like an old school anime with like the
Yeah.
big old shoulder pads on all the characters. Or like
Yeah, that other one that I showed you comes with a strap. It attaches.
or 90s like businessman, padded shoulders. He's a
boy.
big boy.
Hang on. We're gonna get this right.
No,
here.
let him do it. He
You
needs
do-
to
you
practice
do that.
putting it
Put
on.
Put it on. Get it on that noggin.
Like I said, it's not exactly.
Oh, well, one thing about it, though. You get hit, it ain't going nowhere.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah. Let's do this chin strap. Come here, boy.
Dad.
No, yeah, I want to leave this on you. I can lead you around now. Come here.
It's
Come
like
here.
a collar. Just drag him around. Just like what's
They
What are you
asked if
looking
he
at?
had to wear the mask. If he had worn the mask, he might have could have used this large helmet.
That's nice. That's real nice. Okay, stop that. You don't do that. That's
How-
not-
Plus, you out. You out. Just
how
let him
heavy?
hit
How heavy is the? How heavy is it all on you?
Is it real heavy? Grumpy's asking you, is it heavy on you, real heavy? Pretty
you.
heavy?
How much does it weigh?
Does it weigh about 5-10 pounds, say? Well, this weekend when you practice, you're going to wear all that gear. I'm making you run and catching it because
he's got to do that anyway because practice is tomorrow.
yeah.
I didn't even feel that.
Oh, you will at some point.
Yeah, okay. You'll find out tomorrow, Bubs. All right, 6 o'clock. I get to see you get some licks in tomorrow. All right, go get all your gear off. Let me teach you something about that though before you walk away. Take your helmet off.
I got to do laundry on Wednesdays now. Fuck me.
Take your helmet off. I'm gonna teach you a secret about toting that stuff.
Oh, they already showed him how to tote it.
Okay.
Not that he paid attention.
How you tote it? Tell me how you tote it. Take it off. Just slip your arms out. You can leave your jersey over your pads. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right. Take it off.
We still gotta lace it up.
Now, how are you supposed to tote it?
Like that.
Just like that. Grab it. There you go. Son. Grab it like that. There you go. All right, get.
Yeah.
All right. So you can do that later. We'll try that later.
You can here. You want your practice pants? Take your practice pants and get.
So he gets to keep the practice pants and the practice jersey, but the rest of it all goes back.
As it always does.
Which is the pads, the helmet, the game jersey, and the game pants.
Sweet. What color is the game jersey?
Don't know. They haven't handed.
They only gave you the game pants.
Because they haven't told us who the coaches are or nothing.
The coaches will pick up that.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't know.
Cool. Anyway, so that's where we are with the sports stuff right now.
Ethan is next week.
Ethan is next week.
Get the fuck out and won't leave me alone.
Well,
when am I gonna find out? Next week. Is it next week? It's tomorrow, right? You're more child of mine. If you don't shut up, I'm just gonna make you quit.
I know.
I will be GoPro. I will be GoPro in the games though.
But he needs a way of letting out his little he's not anger, but his energy.
Yeah.
It'd be great for him just to run it out and just let it all out on the fields. When he gets home, he has nothing to do but sleep.
He's already doing that with school.
All right, so what else you got for me, Grumpy? Give me something else.
Okay,
Come on.
so what I've been busy this week, other than watching some anime with my wife, I've been working on my wife's figurine that she wanted me to print. Now, this is a figurine from a movie called Trick or Treat.
Yep, that was the movie.
All right, so this movie, my wife there's a certain character on it called Sam. And I printed out her something for her to paint, and I painted me something this past week on stream. Don't know if you were there.
I seen you doing the hat, the Mona hat for sure.
There she is.
And you know, you were asking about the pattern underneath. I did double check the last time I was in. I was doing Mona's story and kind of looked under there, and that pattern is there for sure.
Yeah, so I'm like, God dang it, patterns. Can't see it in pictures, but
It looks good though.
So my wife's going, I want a figurine of a character called Sam. I'm like, oh, okay, Sam. And so
what is a Sam? Sam, I am a Sam.
Sam is this little guy right here. Now let me well, I can't really I can zoom out, right? Let me get this display right here and make it a little bit smaller because it's a little bit too big for my screen.
There's Sam.
This is Sam. Now, I 3D printed this resin on my 3D printer, of course, and a gray, matte gray, and this guy, for everybody that does not know, Sam, Trick or Treat, Sam is pretty much a protector of Halloween. If you don't wear a costume, if you don't put out candy for Halloween, and if you blow out or smash pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns before Halloween ends, Sam will come to your house and kill you. It's a horror movie, right? Simple rules, follow it, and of course, if you're, pretty much like if you're just naughty during Halloween, you don't do the Halloween things, Sam will come and get you. And me and my wife took her first whack at painting Sam, and I helped her out do some of the I guess you would call effects on Sam. Here he is, completed here. We were doing this all while we were watching an anime on Netflix, And I I have definitely learned that dry brushing on 3D prints on high grounds, and then of course wet brushing, which is like getting paint really wet and then rubbing back the upper layer so the lower layer stays in crevices and holes and areas like that, does a really good job. I'm still learning, but my wife did most of the painting and I just did the I guess you call it the effect painting afterwards. So that's what we were up to pretty much. I would say
Turned
this
out
week.
good.
I
Turned
think,
out pretty good.
so this is just one of the reasons why I like 3D printing, because it stuff like this, I feel it feels like a real product in my hand. I will say that. Like I got a matte painting on top of it, but it feels like a finished product and it feels
Out.
really
No.
nice. But along the way, when I was looking at this stuff, I found out, because there's a certain YouTuber out there that I watch on YouTube that got the chance to see a rocket. Sorry, a 3D printer is printing out an actual rocket to go into space. Full rocket. And remember last week
Okay.
we were talking about, like, you know, the advancement of 3D printers out there that we may not see, but some company out there would have, you know, far in advance than us.
Yeah, we were
And-
talking about that last stream.
Yeah. And just so happened, there's not just one of those, but there's two of those. But let me pull up this one right here.
This is the world's
Okay, so I'm gonna put in a view here. Let me full size. If I no, that's too big. Woo, that's too big. Bring it back to display. And this guy right here, he's for anybody who wants to know, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Veritansum. Sorry, not really good with names there, but this is the guy. If you want to see, I'm gonna the volume to play. I'm gonna let it play for a little bit and give you quick details of how this video
This is the world's largest 3D metal printer. It was built by Relativity Space, a startup that aims to print an entire rocket, including fuel tanks and rocket engines, in just 60 days.
I'm like looking.
Okay, so he just said this is the world's largest 3D metal printer. And they're planning to print out the engine, they're planning to print the outer diameter, they're planning to print everything. And within 60 days. 60 days.
That thing has to be humping to be printing that fast.
And this thing, you go further in the video, he said the printer is so precise that it is within a millimeter of a hair.
Jesus.
So it is accurate. And then what it does, I'm gonna go for a little bit here so I can maybe bring it up. It's a printer that uses a spool right there. This is a spool right below there. And the spool comes out to the nozzle and lays a bead of metal down. Love you, love. Wife is leaving, so giving my wife some love. So yeah, it's slowly.
It's you know, we kind of joke. It's
They
like
use
Charlotte's
thousands and
Web.
thousands
Like a
of
spider
meters
silk, but
of
this is an aluminum
silk.
alloy that's on a wire spool. We actually
Silk
print
metal.
about 10 inches
Yeah.
a second. So this wire is really going super
Man.
fast. And then the combination.
But the
of
thing is,
lasers
though, is
and
like,
plasma arc disc.
Who changes all those spools?
Well, I'm sure somebody has to, but I'm just wondering how many spools they're gonna need after all this is done, and how much does that cost? Is it cost effective? Is it not cost effective? Is this just I guess you might say a demo of what it could possibly do, or is this a trial run? Like, is this going to actually be used in the field, or is it just like, hey, we could do it, so we did it, but it's not like we're going to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes people say we did it because we can, but sometimes that's just a waste of time. Like, it just, if you're not really planning to make advancements on it or improving on it or making it better to it's completely feasible, I don't see no reason behind it. And remember last week we talked about someone making a mini jet rocket. So what's a large rocket gonna be like with a 3D printer?
Right.
And of course,
I don't know, man, but that's some wild stuff. You're saying 60 days?
60 days. They plan to do all this in 60 days.
Man, that's. I mean, that thing has to be laying 50, 60 feet or more a day.
Yeah.
I mean, because those rockets aren't short.
No. Now, they didn't say man-piloted rockets. So I don't know what they're going to put inside of it, if anything. Or they just plan to just shoot up there and just go, all right, control it from here, and then have it land back down.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be real interesting.
Now, I'm curious on like whether or not it would be, completely sealable, fuel tanks, how much of the engine will be 3D printed and how much will be, human made. 'Cause I'm sure there'll be some areas you really can't risk it with a 3D printer, even if it's a micro of a hair.
Right.
And of course, it's you can't even be in the room because the video they had to wear a mask anytime they're around that 3D printer while it's going, because it's welding, always.
Yeah.
So, how big is the facility? How you level the bed? Do you level the bed? How you check if there's any error? What if it diverges off the path every now and then? Do they just take the whole thing and go, all right, melt it back down to wire? What happens if there's a failure behind it? What happens when it fails, if it fails?
Right.
I'm thinking of our 3D printers, right? They had theirs on like a little one of those robotic arm things, had like, 3 little axes, right? They can like turn and bend and go like, all that stuff like that, and then it was going in a circle like this, kind of like an arm. But I still don't think this is like this. There's still gonna be some human or some error within the robot at some point, I feel. There's like one little bead didn't go down.
Nothing's infallible at all. So there's always the risk of something failing.
Yeah, and then they go behind it and with the welder and go, all right, weld up this one spot. We missed the bead. Or
no, if they're shooting that bitch into space, they won't be doing that.
Or what happens if the spool gets jammed?
It's just sitting out there and no la la.
Yeah, like our printers does. Like
there's nothing out there.
It's like it's going. Wake up in the morning. It's up like at the top, like hey, and you see the spool of aluminum over there jamming up into a fucking hair knot. I can imagine the headache this device could cause if the something were to go bad one time.
Yep, it wouldn't take once.
So, I like 3D printing, but I know the headaches of it.
You're damn right about that. Believe me, I have one right now.
So speaking of headaches and problems, before we get to the next 3D printer, there's 101 out there. What is your problem that you're having now? Because, let me just tell everybody here, this man, before we started stream, has been sulking while we're talking and just staring at his 3D printer as a sad little puppy going, why? He's been having some problems, and I want to know why. So I don't fuck up and do it myself.
So here's the issue. So, changing the FIP film is easy. Yes, it is. It's not that terribly difficult to take off the old film, put a new one on there, and put it on there. Here's the issue. They do not tell you that the slightest touch of anything could make a microscopic puncture in this film.
Yeah.
They don't tell you that you should handle this damn thing like plutonium on a planet full of freaking geysers of lava. So
my precious.
Not this last time, but prior to last stream when I replaced the FIP film. I made a mistake and didn't even realize it. It was the hole was smaller than a pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Had a hole in there. Put it on there. I printed it printed fine. There was still some resin left in it. There was no like straggling pieces or anything. So I was like, well, it'll be good to go next time. I might have to add a little resin to it. Covered it up, left it alone. Realized when I come back that it had leaked a little bit. I was like, okay, I'll change the film. I must have gotten a hole in it or something when I changed it. And that's last week you see me putting the new film on.
Yeah.
So, and I cleaned the UV LCD that it shines up through, cleaned it all off, put new fit film on it, put resin in it, let it sit for a little while off the printer to make sure I had not done that same thing again.
Mm-hmm.
No leaks. Put it on the printer and hit print. It doesn't print. The arm goes up and down. The UV light cuts on, but nothing happens. Because the LCD screen is supposed to be, you know, blacking out all the area except for where the layer is.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be crystal clear so the light comes through.
Yeah.
Well, there is no blackout and it's foggy as fog.
Down where the LED screen is.
Yeah. So,
How'd that happen?
the resin that leaked out
Yeah.
got around that little tiny edge that runs around that thing and ran under there and into the LCD screen.
Oh, nice. I haven't had that problem yet, but
So, I did not know that at the time. So, the immediate fixes that you look up and find out is, hey, one of the most common problems with these printers, the LCD screen is not functioning properly, is the ribbon cable is loose on the board. It happens sometimes in shipping, or sometimes it's a little off and you don't know it and it pops off, you know, as you're printing. So, of course, I pop my side panel open, I unplug it, replug it, nothing. I was like, well, shit. So I look up a video on how to take the screen out. Un momento, por favor. I show you.
I show you. I show you. I show you.
So, I look up how to pull this out.
And that's the LED screen from
Yes.
below or up top.
This is the this is the screen that sits like this and it shines through.
Okay.
Okay?
That's the top area.
Yeah. So this is the whole screen that sits over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I pull it off. I'm looking at it and realize that all of this back has resin on it. All of that end where the cable meets the screen has resin on it. So I'm thinking, well, I'll clean it all off real good with some isopropylene alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Clean everything up. Maybe it just got, you know, on the connections and stuff. Put it back in. No joy.
No joy. Okay, did you try to like run a print just to see if it if the LED light look
Yes.
will be
Yes.
okay?
The light shines fine. It's plenty bright.
Mhm.
This screen is what actually makes your pattern. It's not making any pattern.
Okay, so let me ask
It's
you:
Stuck.
does
It's
the
stuck.
does the screen make the black line and the light below it just shines the light?
Yep.
Okay, so like, okay, for anybody out there not understanding what I might be saying, it's like it's a transparent screen, but all it's doing is just blacking out the outer diameter of the shape, and then letting the light below it just shine just a solid UV light up to it.
Right.
So only it
And
sees is that clear spot.
Right, and that's how you get your layers. Now, below the screen and above your light is a clear glass so that nothing runs down in there where your light is, if this happens.
Uh-huh.
So I took it off. I'm like, well, there's a clear glass here. I kick it on, make sure that the light's bright. I want to make sure nothing got down there and like dulled my light. And that bitch is bright. It will blind the shit out of you. Do not lean over it. So what has happened with this thing is when it gets power, it is stuck. Nothing goes solid black and nothing is completely clear. The whole thing is kind of foggy.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't cure anything. There's just enough light coming through to say, I see purple light, but not enough UV to cure anything, and it makes no pattern. So the whole thing is shining through like that.
Yeah, like it has right now. I can't even see your hand through it.
Right. But if it was powered up, you would see my hand behind it, but it would be very gray, smoky looking.
Okay.
So I have to order a replacement screen.
And reseal the top glass area, because I'm pretty sure.
So here's the trick with that. The only thing holding that screen down on your printer is double-sided tape.
Really? That's
yes,
it?
you can take an X-Acto knife. I'll show you. See the white sticky?
Yeah.
That's all that's holding it. You can take an X-Acto knife, run around the edge to pop it loose, undo this cable, and it pulls right out.
See, I understand. Like, it's just like phones, right? You don't want to have a lot of screws. You don't have a lot of, clamps. You don't have all that stuff because you can't really make it really micro and really small and compact if you have a bunch of that stuff in it.
Here's you some of the double-sided tape.
But, like, if you're going to use glue, use some industrial shit.
So, let me tell you what Corvo bought so that when he puts his back down.
What's that?
It's called double-sided Gorilla Tape.
Is it thin enough?
Yeah, it's pretty thin.
Okay, because I'm sure it needs to be pretty close to the to the bed itself.
There's a little bit of a lip recess for it to set in. So you're not gonna miss. The only problem is they don't make any double-sided tape that's as narrow as what you need.
Yeah.
So don't bother with trying to find nothing super, super narrow. Just buy whatever you can get. Because what you're going to do is when you get your new one, you're going to stick it down one side.
Yeah.
And take you a pair of scissors and cut right down that edge to get the right length and do that all the way around it. Except for, of course, where this piece is.
Yeah.
Where it meets the board. And then there's a slot in your printer. The cable just slides down through the slot and it goes right to where it needs to be. And you lay this down in there and stick it down.
Gotcha.
Give it about 30, 45 minutes. Make sure it's stuck real good and it's flat. Make sure you re-level, because if it is just a little off, if you re-level, it'll compensate for it. Go to town.
See, I've heard people for phones. I know there's a UV light glue that you can use that you can put in there. So that's why I was like, if that don't work, get some UV light glue. Because that thing shines UV light, just turn the UV light on and let it clear itself.
So, I'm going to order that Friday. I will tell you this. If this stuff happens to you, you better hope there's a sale like the one currently going on a website for this part.
How much does it usually cost? Usually.
$100 out of the gate.
Oh. Okay.
I will be getting it for about $50 because there's a Chute Box, the people do the software.
Yeah.
They're selling the one for this one right now for half price.
Okay. So that's pretty nice. Now I do know if you go on Google right now, or not Google, go on Amazon right now, there's a new version of our printers that just came out a couple of days ago. Yeah. And I don't know.
By the way, make sure you get the one for your printer. Because the R version of that printer is a half-inch smaller in length than this one. This is a 6-inch screen.
Yeah.
The other one's a 5.5. You can find the 5.5s everywhere. It's hard to find the 6. Chute Box is the only place that I found so far that specifically has the screen for our printer.
See, I would hate for them to ever go and stop making parts for printers. That would ever suck.
So yeah, I'm gonna do something just so maybe you might see this. You may not. I want to see if you can see how bright it is without the screen on it.
With just the
I'm gonna-
glass, right?
It's shining through clear glass.
Mm-hmm.
I may. All right, so tools, calibrate. You see that back wall light up?
Yeah, for a little bit.
What? My whole ceiling is purple right now.
I would say, give me a view here with that mess up your camera too much.
Yeah, hang on.
That's
I'm going to aim you. Can you see the printer from there?
yeah.
Okay.
Waiting for it. It's a glowing. It is pretty bright, but I can't really see the full details of it since it's we have a side view now. It's point them to the ceiling. I want to see how much of a coverage you got.
Okay. Hang on.
Oh, nice light. Okay. I don't know if it's just because it's blue or if it's just because of the light that you have shining on it. Up now it's there we go. God dang. And that's all UV. You can pretty much put that in front of your face and have get yourself a little tan going on.
Bright.
Bright. He says in a very monotone, bright. So bright. So okay, so that's the beauty of having these things. Now, I do know it has a cleaning function to it. I would have probably said you probably should have done that beforehand, but it's kind of already too late just to see if that may would have fixed it. I don't know if you even did it.
What that cleaning function is for wouldn't have fixed the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That cleaning function is to be able to harden whatever's left in the bottom of your vat to clean your vat. It does not do anything for this LCD screen or the glass below it.
Okay, so why would you want to harden anything that's left in your vat for?
Okay, let's say you have very little resin left to the point that it's not really worth pouring up.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had that happen. You hit this button and it hardens whatever's left, and you just take your little plastic tool and it pops it right out. Makes it easier to clean up.
Okay, I haven't had that done just yet, but we'll see, because I normally just do it just if there is any resin around the printer that's not inside the vat or inside of the tank, because I just cure it that way, and just I walk away and then come back and then rub it off.
Yeah. So for anybody out there, when you're putting your FIP film on, it's a baby.
It's very thin.
Be
Okay.
careful.
So for those who do not know what we're talking about here, I have a couple of them, left over. So here's one of them, and a little envelopes, because it is flexible. And I'm opening up one because it won't hurt anything. I can open up this one. And this stuff comes in like a pattern of foam, and it comes with double-sided tape, and it's very, very thin. I mean, if I take this stuff off, the little cover top of it, it is quite flexible.
Super thin.
But it's super thin. But what it does, the printer will come down to it, right? And the resin's on top of it. Printer will come down to it and smush all the liquid down to a micrometer or millimeter level. And what it does was when it hardens, the aluminum of the bed is stuck to it. But the resin that's stuck to it can just pop off. But it needs to be pretty thin so you can get it down to those really, really small layers toward the lights of the bed. So you need this stuff to be really thin. But it's pretty flexible too. So it can bolt up if you don't do it tight enough. So you have to make sure this stuff is tighter than a drum. So anything that comes down that might prick it, you're done for. Or anything underneath it that might, prick it. It's like you want to make sure that it comes down, nothing's underneath it. It is flat like a drum, and you're gonna be keeping it safe and precious and they're pretty inexpensive. So you rather most like there's actually two of these. I just realized there's two of them.
Why are we? Hang on a minute. Did we freeze?
No, it's still going on my phone. So
It must have been my computer.
okay, so like it's way better to spend more money on this than spend $100 on that shit.
Yeah.
So if you fuck up on this and little tiny hole, probably just best is go ahead and just switch it out, even if it's like little tiny hole. Wouldn't really mess up your print ever, you know. But it's just cheaper, way cheaper.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm depressed right now with my printer. Hopefully, though, that'll be remedied sometime next. Nail your ass in the damn knee. Anyway,
She messed with you. She's feeling better.
yes. I will hopefully next week get a new screen.
Hopefully soon. Of course, you gotta wait for the shipping and all that stuff. But you got the other 3D printer going on.
Yeah, and here's the crappy part. So I told you it's marked down half price, right?
Yeah.
To get like 2-day shipping, you go back up to full price. So
Ow.
if I want it at that price, I literally have to wait 7 to 10 days.
Ow.
Yeah.
That is painful. Just
So
hearing you
even
say
if
that.
I order it Friday, now that I think about it, it'll be week after next before I can actually print anything.
Yeah, you better enjoy your spool printer. Any project you need to get done, you better get it done. You need to get the tiara done, so that's out the question. You can't do the tiara. Maybe we can do some masks. I don't know. Maybe some more swords.
I need to finish processing the other sword.
But anyways, so another new printer that came out by a video by another fellow YouTuber. I like to call myself a YouTuber, but that loves 3D printing, called 3D Printing Nerd. If you don't know this guy, 3D Printing Nerd, he has been a big advocate for 3D printing for a long time. He's the kind of guy that kind of introduced me to the CR10. When I first started CR10 on his channel, I went, okay, now's the time to buy a 3D printer. And there is a new one out there. Let me go ahead and just show and display here. That is not only a 3D printer, but it's also a CNC machine with multi-accesses, and I'll just let the video play for a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about here.
I am back introducing the next bellows here, and underneath
Okay.
Yeah,
those
but,
are
we use a
precision
CNC machine at
ground
work,
preloaded
so
ball screws. The idea behind
I'm very familiar.
to build a CNC platform.
Okay, so this 3D printer can print down in a multitude of different types of filaments. Not just, see, it says three spools or 3 little tubes going down to it. So it can print different types. So a support layer of filaments, the actual filament itself, and then a different type of filament they need to. The beds are removable. So when your print's done, you can remove the bed and put another one in there. Which I kind of thought was like, that would actually be kind of nice. Like you said earlier, be able to switch out the bed and keep on going. But yeah, there's one of the beds right there. And it also can CNC into the 3D prints themselves, whether they be hardened plastic or rubberized plastic. And one of the cool things I saw was a little later in the stream, right here. Okay, that's the flexible stuff you was talking about earlier, or I was talking about earlier. This right here. Now, I'm waiting for it to get closer to it, so I can show you what I'm talking about here. It can print on a rotary, on a spinning, on a round object. It can print on it and then make it a round cylindrical item. And it can move around it, and it can move on its own axis, and the print can move on its own axis, and you can spin it around. So if you need to make something already cylindrical, you can do it from that point on right there.
It just doesn't make sense. It makes way more sense to print.
And of course, it can do So that's rubberized stuff. I want to get to the CNC part right here.
Sort of, almost like a TPU raft. That's going to give good part adhesion to the build surface, and you're not going to have to grip it a different way.
Come on, get to that point.
Where everything needs to be. Important is because.
Okay, so right now, still printing on that cynical, right? That spinning round thing. But it's now they have it in CNC mode right now. So if you need to turn the object and put holes into it, you can literally turn it on this other axis and start CNCing on it right there. It's going right now into the plastic to make the holes for the print you're doing. Whatever it's be, engine parts or just some stoppers or some bumpers. You can print the object out and then cut the holes in it.
That's crazy.
So you don't need to have to worry about, print not being precise. The CNC will do it for you. It'll make it precise for you and look like a finished product. That actually looks like a completed item. And look, it's just cutting right into that. And of course, it's all enclosed, like you said. So no mess, no problems.
There are wipers. So you see.
Oh, the things I could do.
The y-axis, it just empties the chips.
Oh, and there's also wipers on it. Apparently, I didn't notice that. So yeah, another 3D printer out there that, like you said last week, a company that could be having something in a basement somewhere that we'll never see. There's already printers like that, already printing, or already have printers that are already doing things more industrial. So it is out there. They are being made. So we got what we got? We got spool printers, we got filament printers, we got resin printers, we got CNC and rubberized printers. We still have metal printers, which is using the powder metal, and we also have the powder printers as well. So there's already so many printers out there. So there's almost a printer for every single use out there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's also a 3D printer that also does laser engraving.
Yes, there is.
So if you need to, because the 3D printer, right, it moves in a pattern on the bed. So you have to put that a sheet of metal, put a laser there, refine the laser, and there we go. It can be interchangeable. I know some people actually turn their CR10 printers into wood carver printers or whatever for flat sheets of wood. Yep. Then they would just get one of those spinning rotors and they would wood carve into it. Also, some people did some drawing ones with it as well, which is weird.
I seen a guy changed out where instead of having a tip that allows filament to come through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those heated tips, like on a searing set for wood.
Yeah.
They sear names and stuff. And he swapped it over and set that up, and he could take a plank of wood, clamp it down on his bed, put a name, a design, whatever in there, and it'll literally go in and burn the pattern into the wood for him.
That'd be pretty cool to have, actually. See, like if they could come out with a kit like that where you just go and just buy the kit, install it yourself, you can literally just buy almost the same printer, and then if you want to swap it out, I would like it to be an easy swap though. To be honest with you,
easy interchangeable.
Yeah, because if you're changing out the entire board, or you're changing out the wiring into the board and out to the thing and connected to the arm, and then connecting the heating coil and all that stuff, that'd be too much hassle. But if I could just take my existing wires, unplug where they connect to, let's say, halfway between the board and the nozzle, and just unclip that and put a new one on there and clap the new stuff onto it with the wires it needs to, and then set up the program and just goes, that would be nice. So you can literally have a printer for 3D printing, a printer also for wood carving, printer for wood engraving, or a printer for laser engraving. All within the same printer and the same size, because all it does is the same thing, right? It just moves in a pattern and a certain height.
Right.
And so once you have that adjusted for, just go for it. Only you couldn't do that is with resin printers, because literally all it does is this over and over and over again. there's no way of engraving this baby. Only one axis. That's why I like about it, though. Won't lie. That's why I like it, because it only has one axis, just up and down.
Well, yeah, that and because it uses it because the LCD screen only allows the pattern in which it needs, and the pattern and the layers can be so thin, it can get a high resolution of detail, which is just awesome.
Yeah, which shines upwards and can't, like, with the
Yeah, I mean,
patterns.
Anybody that's never that didn't catch this is an idea of something. So this whole thing right here was done on a resin printer, and that detail, I didn't have to clean any of that. That's how it came out after it was cleaned.
Which is super nice. And like you said, like where Stealthy said at one point, all you need is get some polish and polish that thing down to a gem.
Yeah.
I just my only worry though, because I know it does polish it really well, is I'm not really used to polishing, so I'd be afraid to polish something and I would push too hard and I would sand back some of the details. That would be my main worry, because I'm not really.
That's the thing. You're not here's the trick to polishing. You don't put pressure down. You're just rubbing it around on the surface.
Yeah.
You don't put pressure down. As long as you don't feel yourself pushing on it and you're just moving it around, you're fine.
Gotcha.
Not gonna hurt nothing.
I was thinking like if you get one of those polishing wheels, right? And you put the stuff on it and then zzz, zzz.
And you can do that. But they literally recommend that you put the polish on yourself by hand. And then after you rinse it off, you take it to a buffer, like what you're talking about, and just hold it up to the buffer. And the buffer finishes making it beautiful.
I want to try that someday, but that's someday. So, but I do have, I guess a kind of an announcement. I don't know how well this is going to go off, but I'm probably going to just shoot the video. I'm going to give it to somebody to try and edit it and then wash my hand with it. I am buying myself, or already bought, 6 different types of brands of 3D resin clear prints, or 3D resin for printing. And I'm going to try all of them out. I'm going to test them, score them for all under $25. I'm going to post up here on the channel. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. I got the stuff coming in today. Hopefully it's supposed to be here. And then, of course, once I get all the shot, I'm going to take all of it. I'm going to give it to an editor. I'm on Fiverr and hope they don't screw it up. Because honestly, how could you screw it up and have them make it pretty? Because I'm not doing it no more. Because I'm just... So it's been a long time since I did a video, but I'm trying to think of what I should call it. Thinking about like best clear resin. I need $25. I need $25 plus one, because I'm doing 6, but I have I always know like top 5 plus one. So that's why I'm thinking that wordplay there. So stay tuned to that if you're interested in that. Hope I get to it before someone else does, because I've literally said stuff on my podcast before, and within a week or so later, someone does that very idea or that very thought on the YouTube channel. And if you are that person out there doing that, come on, bro, shout me out.
Hey.
I got ideas, damn it. At least give me a helping hand. I'm not telling you to jerk me. Sorry, just said. All right, so has there anything else you've been doing with this past week? Is there anything else you've been getting yourself into?
Watched some anime, not a whole lot. Got my hands on the first full season of Black Clover, so I'm going to be watching that here shortly. All 51 episodes.
English or dubbed?
I have both.
Okay. Because a lot of people cannot stand the voice actor so much, like myself, that I couldn't finish it. But I heard it's like as high as can be.
I don't really care what they sound like as long as I understand what they're saying. I mean, I can read it, but there's days where I come home and my brain's like, "What, Reed? You've been doing that shit all day on a screen."
Well, I've been watching for my wife on Netflix. Okay, for anybody out there who's interested in a slice of life now. your show is a who's it made by? But it's Shojin anime,
Yep.
right? Which is
Yep.
pretty much a almost ongoing, almost never ending kind of story. There's always a new bad guy, new problem. It deals with drama, but it also teaches kids or people to be more hospitable, be helping, be kind. It's a coming of life kind of story, but in like it with a lot of I would say mysticism. That's not the right word for it. It's more like magic.
Yep.
But
Magic, demons, whatever
whatever gets it hyped. Whatever the next challenge might be, they'll throw it in there. But me and my wife, we watched a slice of life called Toradora or Dore. It's a slice of life which is pretty much another coming of age of kids or of teenagers or adults all learning how to deal with life and deal with emotions and deal with problems and overcoming them and how to be honest with yourself and be honest with others and to teach you to be kind and also, but it's something my wife likes. She doesn't admit it, but she loves Slice of Life. Absolutely loves it. But she mostly likes it because there's one character that I'll just say it. She's a straight bitch. Straight up, capital B. Bitch. But there's some good fight scenes in it that I was all about. I mean, good animation. I mean, good on ya. And the character, she's one of the kind of characters that she has no shame on showing her emotions when it comes to anger or frustration. And she hunts down the main guy character sometimes like a dog. And she's it is so funny. It's a good comedy. It's a good romance. If you're into that kind of stuff, give it a try. Black Clover, like I said before, a lot of people can't get over the voice actor.
Yeah, see, for me, I get people that like slice of life animes and good on them, but when I watch an anime, I don't want to see anything that looks like real life.
Well,
I don't. I want mysticism. I want giant robots. I want someone impaling someone with a spirit sword. I want something I don't see every day. Because I live in cubicle land every day, and then slice of life happens all around me. I see some of the funniest, stupidest, craziest shit you've ever seen. Just sitting in my cubicle because people don't think it's like they think that cubicle wall.
Don't worry, it's like
you can't hear through it. I'm like, there's not even a top.
It's like, does it exist?
Of course, I can hear everything.
At the office.
I mean, that's what it's like. I sit there. It's like I sit there and hear them tell stories about. Let me tell you what happened to me this weekend, and you're like thinking, why the hell would you even do that? What?
No, I'm talking about the TV show The Office.
Yeah. I couldn't get down.
People like The Office, like
yeah, people love The Office. I couldn't get down with The Office. I live in The Office every day, So when I come home, I want to see someone getting impaled by a demon. Oh look, it's different. Yay!
It doesn't have anything with real life. But they always do say slice of life and anime in general. Like you don't really see this in actual real world. Like for the school. For one thing, for people having different hair colors, that don't happen. And so, some things breaking up and fights like they do sometimes in this show, that don't happen in real life. They always say, like, that don't really happen in real school. But it does deal with a lot of, the emotions and coming out with that and stuff.
I mean, it depends on where you live. I mean, if you live in the right place, you see multiple hair colors at school, and you see that queen bitch that will grab you by the back of your hair and drag your ass down the hallway because you looked at her man. I mean, that does happen.
Yeah, in America or other places, but in Japan, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But the one fight, I won't go into too much details here. Let's say one of they call her Tiger Palm because she's a small little girl that's ferocious like a tiger, but she's small, so it fits in your palm. But a guy that she liked gets hurt by a girl that won't come confess her feelings, and she's like, "You bitch!" And she goes into her classroom where she's at, pulls out a wooden sword, and it's like. And the other girl's like, all right, bring it on. She asks for another girl's like, what is those kendo swords, right?
Yeah, Kendos.
And the little girl like jumps from table to table to table like a fucking lightning bolt, just right over to her. They just get at it. I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see. That's what I was hyped for. Like that one scene was enough for me. I'm like, I'm happy now. And they beat the shit out of each other. And I'm like, I can see that, but but not in Japan. But maybe in America, I've seen some violent attacks.
In America, it wouldn't have been wooden or bamboo swords. It'd have been like tables and chairs and freaking hardcore wrestling matches. I'm gonna jump off this wall and drop this elbow in your face, bitch.
So, I liked it.
The table or the floor.
Yeah.
Hell, when I was in high school, I watched a girl put another girl in the figure 4 in the middle of class and make her cry. And I was like, oh my God, please don't hurt me.
She's a little parade. Ha! But I've seen little girls like literally climb up 6'2", guys, and she was like 4'3" or 4'2", and she just climbed them up like a chimpanzee and started beating on his head. But I just that stuff to me just made me laugh, and there's a lot of funny parts in it. That's something I do say about Slice of Life, though. They do hit a lot of like comedic moments, right? There are a lot of moments that are very realistic, right? Because as comedy is, it is taking something that we see as tragic or sad or bad or whatever, and we twist it on its head to make it, to give it a different outlook, and realistically, we should just be laughing about this because it's really, in the grand scheme, not that serious. Like, life will go on. Only they can't do that is with death. Like, that's the only thing they can't do, really.
That reminds me of something. We were talking about how people react to different animes. I want to tell you, I heard one of the funniest damn arguments about an anime at work the other day. I about died laughing. It was over Bleach.
Bleach? Okay. I actually like Bleach.
I'm sitting there, and these two people are fighting because of who Ichigo ends up marrying at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Rukia fans that think, yeah, he went and did all this stuff to save her. He should have ended up with her. And then you got the people that are like, but he married the girl that's loved him ever since they've been kids. And I'm like, well, okay, first off, dumbasses, if you didn't, you missed parts of the anime, obviously, because he never said he was going to save Rukia because he was in love with her. He said he was going to save her because he's not leaving a friend behind. And secondly, when you find out this girl that has been hanging out with you your entire life is deeply in love with you and willing to go to another world to help you save another chick, it kind of puts a different spin on things.
Yeah, because
I'm sitting there going like, y'all arguing over shit that don't make no sense. I mean, Rukia was friends with Renji since they were children. Ichigo was friends with the other girl since they were children. How did you not see this coming?
Yeah,
I mean, what? Here, let me watch the anime like this.
With blinders on. Well, yeah. That's the thing with waifu, waifu culture when it comes to anime. Waifu culture, for anybody that doesn't understand, is when you watch an anime or any show, like you can name a show. Name any show with multiple people in there. You're gonna have a favorite waifu in that show. I can guarantee it. You have a favorite male character. You have a favorite female character. And sometimes you wish them to get together. That's in live shows or cartoons. So if anybody out there thinks this is an anime only thing, it's not. So they focus on that character and go, that's my waifu. If I was that character, that's who I would marry. Good for you. That's who you would marry. But realistically, a lot of people go, but why would you marry your childhood friend? That really isn't rare. It's not. It does happen. People do go out with their childhood friends at some point because then you realize, they're my childhood friends. They didn't know me the most. They're the closest to me. They understand me. They've been through my hard times and best times. They know more about me than most people know about me and my entire family because they're close to me. And sometimes that makes a great match.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's even you talk about waifu culture. It's not. It's in games. Hell, take Genshin for instance. I mean, shit. Poor traveler. He walks around with the damn heroin following him all the time, and every one of them are talking sweet to him.
Yeah, true. And
I
then,
mean,
and everybody has
damn.
their choice of who would they be if they
and
were
with
traveler.
that game, the bad thing is your pick can change day to day depending on what character you pull in that next wish and how much you like her. So waifu today may be Lisa, waifu tomorrow may be Beidou. Hell, 3 days from now it could be Miss Kamisato. You don't know.
Or if
So
you're,
I mean, that shit changes all the time.
or you're just going, give him like 10 more years, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, she's kind of short and she's got cat ears, but she sure does handle a bow well.
Yeah, give it. She's really good with alcohol, so give her 10 more years. Let's see what it comes about.
Yeah, that poor little joker can't make a bad drink to save her damn life.
Yeah, and of course, I saw someone the other day actually take that very character and did a like a real it looked like a real in-game splash. You know when you get a new character, they're like he's like ping and like in a pose and like there's a bunch of effects going on with them showing you a new character you just unlocked, right? That artwork they did. Someone did a adult version of that character as if it was an actually in-game, and it looked really good. I'm like, if that was what she looked like when she grows up, could be material. Could be a future waifu.
Let's see. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of them in there I like. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things. So again, that's why I always say if you are a fan of TV shows, here's something I actually found real quick. I found it interesting. And people always used to give me trouble for this stuff. You know there's more people watching television per hour than there is on average for a person that plays video games per hour?
Yeah.
But people, like, when I was younger, I used to get a lot of flack that I'm playing too much video games. But I did not realize there's more people watching television and sitting there on the couch just sitting there watching than there is people actually playing video games. And someone did a study a year back in university, and then they went to a mall, they went to a couple other places, and asked them on how many hours per average did they actually watch television or play video games. And more people watch television than they play video games.
Yep.
Like for me, I maybe play maybe per day. On a good day, maybe 5 hours, maybe. On an average day, like 3 hours. And I'm off.
Yeah. No, I mean, hell, and of course there's Genshin going on over here to my left, so I keep seeing people run around and attacking, and I'm going, oh, I want to kill that too.
Don't worry, we'll get on there soon, I'm sure.
I will tell you that right now, my favorite character to fight with is definitely Kamisato.
Yeah.
Because I can do shit with her. I can beat the living hell out of things way above my level just because I can scoot and freeze and scoot and freeze. What, you think you're going to hit me? You stay right there while I go over here and heal. I'll be right back.
For that game, I kind of wish they would make those characters that can do those unique way of traveling have a real, like, beneficial factor to them. But I guess since they can go over water, that's their beneficial factor. But I wouldn't mind.
She has a beneficial factor to traveling that way. If you look at her talents later, there you get. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you get certain boosts for popping up on a character after being in that state for a certain amount of time during your attacks.
Okay, I know Mona.
So, yeah.
If she does it for a long period of time, a little AOE thing will come up if you do it for so long. But I'm talking about, like, I wouldn't mind a character that can dodge. That would be nice while doing that. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm about to get hit, dodge. That would be nice. I don't know if that's a thing, but
I mean, one of the benefits to the way she travels in that frost, I noticed, especially if you have somebody playing with you that's running like a Barbara or a Mona that's keeping them wet.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have one of your abilities, if you pop up out of that thing next to something that's wet, it's frozen. It's like another ability.
Yeah.
You know?
Another moment to keep them staying still for a little longer.
Yeah.
which was really nice to help us out during that last event, because I didn't have that. I was by myself, so I had to be creative. Of course, also, like I told you when we were on there, I did it at the worst time because I just leveled up my world that very day, so everything was out of my level, and I was really weak, and they were really strong, and I was losing because I didn't lower the level or difficulty. Actually, I think I did. It was lowered, but I increased it, but I didn't realize that's what happened. But anyways, so yeah, bad choice, bad timing, but I managed.
Yep.
I managed. But anyways, we're over an hour, so we're gonna go ahead and say thank you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to have more conversations about 3D printing and anime and all that stuff like that, hobby you might call it. Still working on the new title for everything. Be sure to share this with everybody. Share this around. Share this on your Facebook. Share this on your Twitter. And if you do Twitter, be sure to @ me. Please, be sure to @ me, and or share it on any other Instagram, Parlor. I don't care where you share it. Share it around, please. Get to hit the like button. Tell your friends. Come check this out. I would really appreciate that. Help us get to 100. We only got like a couple more months, and the year's over. So I need 20 more. Please and thank you. If you can help me get there, I would appreciate it. Take your friend's phone, take your mama's phone, take your dad's phone, and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate that. But as always, you have a good day. You have a good night. Have a good life. Much love, y'all. And bye. Bye, 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 bye.